Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. In this particular episode, I thought we'd talk a little bit about employment-based visas. There's all kinds of stuff that we could talk about on it, but there's a lot of confusion about, for example, what is Schedule A Group 2, what is second preference employment based, and whether or not that's the same thing. What's the difference between Schedule A Group 1 and Schedule A Group 2, and so forth. So let me just give you the basic rundown of it so you're more clear. Now, in most typical employment cases, it's necessary to do what's called a Perm or a labor certification. And while I could make and have made probably 30 videos on the subject, the bottom line of what a labor certification or Perm is supposed to do is supposed to certify or show that there is no available U.S. workers for this position. So given that, the Schedule A Group 1 has two positions in it, okay? Two types of positions, and that is what we're talking about here. And these two positions have been what's called pre-certified. That means that they do not need to have the Perm. They do not need to go through the labor certification. None of that. They have been pre-certified, and while there are procedures that can be done in regards to going forward with these two positions, at least you don't have to worry about that. Now, those are nurses and physical therapists. That means that the United States government has determined that there are insufficient amounts of people in which to fill the positions of nurses and physical therapists, and therefore those people do not need to do Perm. They can begin right away with the I-140 petition, which is the petition that is to be used following normally the Perm. So with the nurses, they either need to pass the CGFNS, or they need to pass the NCLEX, or they need to have an unrestricted license in any state in the United States, and then it can go forward from there. Now, this is still under what's called employment-based 3 preference, and minus the Philippines, which, that's where a large majority of the nurses come from. They are current as it stands right now. Still a 7-year wait, give or take, if you're from the Philippines. So if you're from the Philippines, you might want to immigrate to Canada, and then once you are in Canada, you can then, petition as a Canadian citizen, however long that might take. So the visa screen certificate will later be needed with the nurse petition, but all that in good time. Now, with the physical therapists, you need to complete license or eligible to sit for the license, and then of course the visa screen certification. So this is the Schedule A Group 1, which cuts out a significant portion of time, money, expense, and so forth in going forward. So if you're in school, let's say you're on an F1, and you're wondering what maybe you should go into in regards to being able to immigrate faster, we can talk about all kinds of different options. But if you want to get under Schedule 1, Schedule A Group 1, you become a registered nurse, which, by the way, you don't need a bachelor's degree to do that. You can, go for a 2-year course and then pass what you need to pass in order to become a nurse. And then you can just jump into the I-140, and they're fairly good paying jobs, the nurses and physical therapists. So give that a thought. We'll have another video on the next section of Schedule A, but either way, if you like the video, click like, subscribe, and also there'll be more on the coming videos. Okay, have a good day.